We're dropping live right now. Welcome to Pendragon Anarchy. The year is 507. We are back with another episode. Session 2 of this year. Gonna quickly do some introductions with the cast, and then we're gonna dive right into the game. We'll start with Thomas.
Hello, my name is Thomas, and I will be playing Sir Edrich of House Winterbourne Stoke, Marshal of Salisbury, and Castellan of Vagon. No, a Baron of Vagon.
It's true. It's true. Got to it before I could. All right, and Mark.
Hello, I am Mark, aka the Cat's Meow, and today I'll be playing Sir Florence of Idmiston and Baron of the Axe, as well as Lord Commander of Wells. He has many titles, and many more to come, hopefully.
Alrighty. And we'll go to Liam next.
Oh, hi. Sorry. I was looking at something. Hi, everybody. I'm Liam. I play Sir Virgil of Durnford, also known as Baron Virgil of Durnford. I am very much, as always, excited to get going with, well, possibly war today. We'll see. Virgil would love war. I think we can have a little bit of war.
We'll see, indeed. Okay, so next, we're going to deal with a couple of things in the spring here. First and foremost, we're going to go to Florence over in Cornwall. Florence, you receive a notice that you are to return to Wells this year.
Yep, he would. He is commanded.
Excellent. Okay. Next, we're gonna go. We're gonna quickly get you to roll a d10. Let's see if anything wild happens while you're here.
10.
Okay. I just need you to tell me what, if anything, are your top 3 priorities while you're in Wells this spring.
Well, one is to come out of it looking like a goddamn war hero. He wants to be the most effective of King Idris's men, to stand his ground, and prove himself as a commander, but also as a candidate for the earldom of Devon.
Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong, gang, but siege is a skill used on both offense and defense, yes? When it's used?
I believe
Yes.
so.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So Florence, given that goal, I'm going to get you to make the following rolls. I'm going to get you to make a battle roll, a stewardship roll, and a siege roll. You may impassion one of them if you wish.
I will impassion the steward roll. And can I impassion with hospitality?
No.
Well, it was worth a try.
Yeah.
Oh, you're rolling honor instead.
Actually, you said stewardship?
Yeah, stewardship, hospitality, stewardship.
That'd be the only of the 3 you could do.
All right,
Yeah.
that's the one I'm doing.
Nice save.
Right, first off is battle.
Nice.
Success on a 14. The other one was siege.
And he used hospitality for siege.
Absolutely
Give
not.
him a warm welcome. But yes, it was
Give 'em
siege.
a warm welcome. Success on a 3.
Nice.
All right.
And finally, hospitality. I will be rolling my, rolling my hospitality to impassion my stewardship, which gives me a +10. I don't get to add geniality to this, do I?
There is no geniality.
You wouldn't have any in this case. Oh no!
Sorry.
Well, not a fumble. Not a fumble. All right. So just looking here. That's not too bad. 2 out of 3 isn't bad. I think that comes down to You do really well with the defensible preparations for Wells, because Wells isn't terribly defensible. Has no castle, has no keep. Didn't have walls till you guys made them. But aside from that, an additional, I guess, point is that formations wise, you have everyone in good condition, ready to go. You are neglecting a bit the pieces that come down to like the organization of the place, and even your stewards are struggling. Some of this comes from the fact that the supply lines have been raided more than once from the forest.
Yeah.
Not so much from like Salisbury, but from strange little scenarios that happen. You know what? You can test suspicious or not suspicious. Worldly or spiritual is what I meant to say. Okay.
The demons.
Yeah. Make a fairy lore roll just in case.
The demons.
I keep telling you, they are demons, but they're also fae.
Fiends indeed. Yeah. Okay. The one that would stand out because you've actually faced one in Florence is there's mention of a giant as well.
Yeah. Another type of demon.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's accurate.
Giants are in the Bible. Look it up. Look it up.
Yeah. Okay.
We're making the island right for the Lord.
I played the new Indiana Jones. I remember.
So the question for Florence then, coming out of that scenario, is, aside from keeping things right, is there any little personal pieces you want to check in on or look into?
Well, he would continue organizing plans for a feast in Idmiston later in the year, once the wartime is over.
Sending a messenger to and fro?
Yeah, to get everything organized.
You find that your messenger doesn't return when you expect them to. And
that's not unusual. Summerland.
No, you can expect, you can, take that with whatever you want, Florence. I don't know if you want to act off that or not. Okay. And since you did pass battle, you're also aware, that the intel is that Nanteleod has called for a muster in Clarence, which is here. And the belief is that Bath will be sieged. So Meliodas, who's stationed and leading the formation in Bath, is in that position right now of defense.
Has Florence received a call to arms from either Sir Meliodas or the king to ride to Bath?
No. Nope. Your orders are to keep Wells in good defense. So, yeah.
All right. It continues to do so.
Okay. You could petition if you believe it a wise move.
I think Florence's suggestion would be if he can stop them at Bath with their combined forces, that may do well.
Okay.
As the only likely enemy that would be able to attack Wells without going through Bath would be Salisbury, and he sincerely doubts they'll attack.
All right. So how do you want to do this? Are you going to compose something?
Yeah, it'd probably just be like a letter.
I will give you the option. You can compose with support from his staff of +5, or you can choose instead to orate a role to someone who is like who can compose, like a clergyman or something, and they would just transcribe.
Yeah,
what
we'll do
you
an
write.
orate.
Okay. Okay. You can tick that.
Ooh.
Okay. We're gonna kind of go in sequence from there. So we'll actually in about 3 weeks you receive, so this is nearing summertime. You learn that Prince Mark has arrived in Wales.
All right, then. I go to greet the prince.
Okay. He's accompanied by his normal brutish bodyguards. They actually kind of remind you of like Uther's, the way they're structured and sized, you know?
Yeah. The 1, the 2, and the giant.
Okay. The 1, the 2, and the Goretrix.
Yeah.
So at that point, Mark, you realize that Mark is here to see you quite quickly, just from the way it's like, Sir Florence.
My prince? Was it you need of me?
The king received your petition. I've sent word forward, but seeing as I'm in command of the armies, while my father is away in Tintagel, I'd like to know what your why you propose that we would send our armies north, and how much of our army from Wales to Bath.
Well, the thought was, if we can halt off the armies of the Gales, and force them back, it's possible we could turn that into an offensive, either marching on the restored king of Somerset, or alternatively pushing slightly into the lands of the Gales, so that Cornwall isn't willing to take an offensive war lying down.
You propose a march of advancement? He says.
I suppose so. A defense, and then, to put it in the terms of sword work, think of it as a parry. Knocking their blade out of the way before thrusting our blade forward into their chest. Or rather, their heart, in this case.
I'm gonna test a couple things from Mark. So Mark is a character. Indeed. One sec.
He's
I am a character.
Yeah. Yes, he is. I meant that in that way as well.
All right, you're good for the lustful.
Yes, indeed. Always with lustful. You got to lead with that.
Yeah, he doesn't immediately make out sloppy style with Florence.
As God intended.
Well, this is sound. Very well, then. I will organize the retinue from Jagant to march forward to Wells. I'll send orders to them immediately, and I will remain in command here. You take the non-garrison forces of Wells, and you advance on Bath.
Yes, my lord.
Alrighty. So, with that, we cut away from Florence. And we go to... let's see here. We're gonna, you know what makes sense? This will be in devices.
I love devices. That's where I'm from. I don't know if you knew this, but that's where I'm from. That's where my... No, it's actually not where I'm from. I'm wrong. That's
just in case you weren't
Right.
aware.
That's where you're seated.
That's my
where you
place.
are.
That's where I am. Yeah.
Just in case you forgot. Yeah. Okay. So...
Devices was someone else's before we killed him.
That's true.
Yeah, we did.
We should kill that guy.
And
Okay.
I'll do it again.
I
All right.
would do it again. Guy was a dick.
Okay, so this is probably like a couple weeks after Easter, Virgil, and you are going about your business and devices, and a messenger, or sorry, rather, one of your servants arrives to alert you of something. Your herald, let's say.
What is it? I'm busy right now.
A messenger from Scavalon has arrived. He wishes to pass through.
Scavalon. That's interesting. Bring him through devices first. I'd like to see him before he makes his way into Greater Salisbury.
Very well. And with that, you meet the messenger. We're just going to see something here.
Reese.
I've never heard Euron as a female name.
Wow.
You're on Crow's Eye.
I know, right? That's what I'm thinking.
Prudent,
Yeah, and Greyjoy, right?
15 prudent, 19 reckless. That is a man who's fucking whacked out at all times.
That is a man who doesn't know what he's about.
A man whose character sheet is inaccurate. Yeah. Okay.
It's a highly directed trait.
Well, you know what? We'll go with Euron as his name, because why not? You see a boy like probably 22 or 23. I say a boy because he's not knighted. He's by his station, you're almost certain, like by his clothes and stuff, you're almost certain his station is that of a squire who did not get knighted, so he's an esquire at this point. And likely forever.
How can Salisbury serve a Scavalon, friend?
Pauses. Well, simply seek the Lord, the Earl, Robert, in Sarum. If it pleases you, my lord, I'll be on my way.
To what end?
I carry any motions to his pocket, to his stash, and he pulls out. And you see the he probably would heraldry plus 10. Be hilarious if Virgil's like, what's that? What's that nonsense?
I don't.
He's got a knife.
I need heraldry to see if he's got a knife.
No.
All right, here we go.
Be great to play a game like that, though.
15. Out of 20. Success. Sorry.
Yeah, all good. Yes, it's the royal. It's sealed with the royal seal of Scavalon, King Nanteleod.
I see. Very well. I'll make sure you're escorted properly. Might even tee you in myself. What was your name, boy?
Euron, sir.
That's a girl's name.
well done. All right. Hold on. We'll take this moment aside to do a random person for each person. A random card, for each person. Bonus card for Thomas. Bonus card for Mark. Bonus card for Liam.
Wow, +1 to hate.
Yatta.
I am so racist, you guys.
I'm gonna just clip that.
Racist.
Yeah. So no context.
Love stewardship in there. Wish we were doing winter this session.
Canceled.
Yeah. Nuked our own. I'm not gonna wait till someone shuts our show down. I'm just gonna do it myself. So
Reduced to atoms. So it was Thomas Mark.
Journey awareness. Yeah. Hey, can I help you? Sorry, I'm talking to my dog. Ignore me. I'm not trying to
well,
work.
it's all good. I think at this point, what is there anything you say in response to Yura?
Other than the girl's name thing, yeah. He's good.
He
He'll
says-
escort him.
While you're traveling, he says, Lord Virgil, I have an inquiry for you from the king. I was to keep an eye out for... are you familiar with Sir Gwydir?
I can't recall. I don't think we've met, actually.
Give me a recognize roll to see if you've heard any stories. I would propose a folklore -5 as well would apply. But
well, if I do folklore -5, I can burn my card and give it to be a -2 instead.
there you go.
That would give me a 0.
Okay. Well, that doesn't help you, does it? Yeah. You know what? I'll do actually. Let's change this a little bit. I will give you a folklore plus. I know this is an extreme jump, but I'm going to include glory, and that's why I'm doing this. So it's a folklore plus 11 -5, so +6. Folklore +6.
+6. Okay, so that will give me currently an 8 if I roll it flat. And why not? We burn that card. When am I going to need to flirt or flirt or stewardship, you know? So I'll spend +3 to get this to be a +9.
Okay. Hey.
I have indeed heard of that weirdo.
Yeah. So he actually was named. So he's apparently the one that killed the King of Essex. That's probably why you're familiar with him by name.
Oh shit!
Yep.
Right on.
He is known to be extremely reckless. They say he is in a lot of trouble with the Roman Church for raiding a Menevia, actually, which is where Uther and Merlin fended off the Irish all those years ago under Pascient. They stole some holy relics or something like that. You've also heard he is very famous for his lascivious lifestyle, and he is a pagan.
I don't think I have any thoughts on that last bit, but this guy sounds like he rocks.
It's like
Virgil.
I like him.
Virgil will kind of laugh and he go, "Yes, the name sounds familiar. Rings a bell. What about him?"
We haven't been able to find him. He was away on... The king reports that he left on a diplomatic mission and hasn't returned as of yet. I was asked to keep my eyes out while in Salisbury.
I see. Well, I haven't heard of this amusing fellow coming to visit us. At least not in recent memory. Though that is a pity. I would quite like to meet a figure such of his stature.
He nods. Why don't you roll me a d10, Liam? Let's see if any curveballs happen here.
I love a d10. It's my favorite kind of dice. That's a 6, dog.
Okay, roll me 2d100. Let's see what exciting adventures
I
you
love
get
D100.
to. Yeah.
They're my favorite kind of dice. 94 and a 44.
Escort. That sounds about what's happening right now. Okay, no, because this is 6 would be in addition to. Got it. Okay. All right. We will actually move into a scene with Edrich at this point. Edrich, I will give you the option here. Do you want to happen to be in Uphaven for whatever reason, and we can find out what that reason was and deal with it of the martial nature, or would you rather simply be down in Sarum and we'll see what happens while you're doing that? This is kind of like the key, time of the marshal, so you're usually in Sarum for a good chunk of like late spring to summer, and for the purpose of moving men and such, right?
It might make more sense to be in Sarum, a centralized location, especially when we're preparing for gearing up for offense or defense, both. I can't think of many reasons I'd be in Uphaven except killing Fae and trying to do the border patrol business. I think Sarum makes more sense, however.
Very well. Okay. We will dress that then. We have a messenger from afar present. Sir maybe let's see. Can be Sir Tudor. Sir Tudor of I don't need his region. I know where he's from. What you find out is you're here with Earl and with Earl's mother, and you have a guest from Malahut.
Malahut, huh?
Yeah, it's been a long time since you've had any diplomacy come from Malahut. So,
especially because I hate them.
You know what makes this even more strange? Lindsay's probably, given what you know about Lindsay right now, they're probably, because you know that in character, yes? About Lindsay's.
Yeah, I've been up to both places and seen the antipathy firsthand.
No,
I've
but
escaped, the guards of the Centurion King.
You know in character what that Londinium is targeted by Duke Corneus of Lindsay this year, right?
Indeed, yes.
So how the hell did this Malahut messenger even make it here? Because they don't like Malahut, and they don't really, if they're in the process of marching down south, they're not going to let random Malahut knights or servants or messengers through into Logris. They're probably going to detain them until. So
either this guy slipped the net, or they're really busy elsewhere.
He does look a little bit like more disheveled. He looks a bit less like a well-kept knight. Like he's definitely a poor knight.
Probably more likely to travel off-road. But yes, I think little of the suspicion that Edrich feels shows on his face. Little of the huge amount he has is still a significant amount, however, as he nods to the messenger and says, "Speak, Sir Knight. You behold the presence of the Earl."
He bows low for Robert. Robert gives a nod. Ellen gives a nod. This is Earl Robert, and thank you for trading with me. I know that my lord's kingdom has not been looked upon greatly from Logris for some time. He would like to set such troubles aside and propose a defensible alliance. He looks like he's super in over his head, by the way. This looks like you give me an intrigue or no diplomacy test, actually. Diplomacy.
Absolutely. Because is this like the kind of I'm in over my head because I was told to do this and I don't know what to do, or I'm in over my head because I'm pretending? Let's diplomacy it. Oh, fumble on diplomacy. This guy's a fraud.
100%. Roll a suspicious roll, Thomas.
Like his vibe.
This guy is fully a bandit trying to lure our people into some kind of false sense of security. Suspicious. Failure on suspicious, though.
Oh, test trusting.
Failure on trusting as well.
You're uncertain. Diplomacy-wise, though, you just can't believe that something isn't lining up. Like, this guy is not trained, like, he's not trained to be a formal diplomat.
Yeah, this guy's not trained. Also, like, Malahut is the reason why we're having such trouble with Saxons, because they allied with them and protected them from persecution before, I killed some of them. I think Edrich tilts his head and says, "From whom?"
The Centurion King, my lord.
Defensive pact implies a threat. I realize the Centurion King has sent you.
Oh, right. Well, any external threat.
I think he looks at the Earl's mother, the Countess Ellen, and kind of gives her, "What the hell's up with this guy?"
I think Ellen's like, Sir Tudor, was it? Can you please be more precise with your request? And he drops his attempt at being roundabout, and he looks you, three of you, in the eye, and you can see a look of like very seriousness. He's very serious in this moment. He says, "Very well. King Lot moves south to conquer Malahut, to conquer Cumbria."
If there's one thing that Edrich has been suspicious about for ages, it's King Lot. So I think he nods as if pieces are falling into place and says, "So you were sent with great haste, was it?"
I was recruited by a formal diplomat of Malahut to assist him in establishing... One sec. I'm gonna test something real quick.
I'm gonna throw this man through a window.
Actually, hold on. No.
What else is new?
I myself am a mercenary knight from Dorset. There is a formal diplomat. He's charged a number of us to reach out to each of the individual counts and earls, barons, and lords of the land for assistance.
And where is this diplomat that recruited you? Do you know, or were you simply given money and tasked with delivering treaties?
He said his target was Silchester. That Duke Ulfius was the best potential alliance.
I see. Malahut is far away. Should a treaty of the sort that you wanted us to sign be made, it would take time to do anything.
There is urgency in this. Malahut may not be a sovereign kingdom. They believe that Lot and his allies in the lands beyond Hadrian's Wall will march this year.
Indeed. I think Edrich is of two minds here. One, he doesn't like Malahut, but he fears them less than he fears the Scottish kings coming down and waging war. Two, he's pretty sure this guy's a fucking spy for King Lot. But
I trust him.
think I trust him with my life. I think Edrich will say, "You present an interesting proposal, but it is up for the Earl to decide. We face enemies, all, and on varying sides. That said, the Centurion King, is he of Logris?
Centurion
Is
King
he
is
Kimry?
not of Logris, so he is of Kimry, though. Those are two different.
Yes.
So I believe his tribe. I gotta double back on the exact bit, but there's a mixture of the Britannic, what's the right word for that? Roman Britons and
Yeah, I know what you
Buricum.
mean.
And then outside of Buricum, the rest of Malahut, just like every other major Roman civitas, Malahut is like in the top 3 major civitas, and
Indeed.
or Buricum is. And then outside of that is the Greater Kingdom of Malahut, which is the former Brigantes tribe.
Edrich will say, "We all of us face enemies, some quite close to home, but it is rare these days that Kimry stand together against a common foe, but when it has been done, much has been gained from it. But it is up for the Earl, of course, to decide whether to treat with you further, for very little can be set in stone and in paper now. And he will look to the Earl."
The Earl looks suspicious and almost kind of like raises his nose up at this because he doesn't like Malahut. Malahut got his father killed. And he says, "And what offer does Malahut have for this so-called alliance?" The in over his head tutor says, "My understanding, my lord, is he means to wed his daughters to any of the lords who would rally to him in defense of King Lot."
How many daughters does he have?
Do you know?
Loads.
Last time I was there was a little while ago, and I didn't exactly stay to meet him. I was mostly trying to get Florence to stop sleeping with his sister.
This isn't the real reason, but wouldn't it be great if he was known as a Centurion King because he had 100 daughters? Yeah. And by the way, this is Hadrian's Wall, and the reference, it is from the hit song by Tintagel Oasis. Yeah.
Indeed. But yes, I think that's gonna slot into the back of Edric's mind as he goes, I mean, Robert does need to marry at some point. But he will say nothing, instead, eyes coolly gleaming as he looks between the two.
And then he lets out a very quiet fart.
There is.
No, I didn't draw that card. I haven't drawn it in 20 years.
I changed my diet, all right? Spicy food did not work. Okay, so with that, give me an intrigue roll as you kind of, study the room a bit, Edrich.
Let's do it. I like intrigue. Success.
You see that Robert looks rather unimpressed, but Ellen seems intrigued with that. That would be furthering the position of royal blood in Robert's line.
Yes. I think if there is a kind of unimpressed glare from the Earl going on further, Edrich will say, we may need some time to discuss our options. If you could give us the name of the diplomat who tasked you with this, we may treat with him more directly for more specific promises.
All my Melahut dudes have died, I think, at this point. So let me just quickly see here.
Good.
Yeah. At
That's what you
least
get for chasing me out of your city while we run away from giant Saxon kings.
Oh, that's right. That was these guys. God, I know you just straight up said it a second ago, but I was like, I don't remember it happening. But no, I do remember that happening. These guys suck.
I'm almost positive Nicholas died, but we're gonna give him a son who would have continued on.
Hell yeah. I did like Nicholas.
Leland, the son of Sir Nicholas, or Ap Nicholas,
I
is
remember
what
Nicholas
is what they say, because that would be common.
Indeed. I remember his father well. A man of honor.
Indeed, a tragedy he is undoing. He says, having no idea what he's talking
Yeah,
about.
like, this guy is on the other side of the country.
Oh, by the way,
He's polite.
this guy's from Dorset.
Yeah, this guy's from Dorset. This guy's from way down there.
Yeah. But he's like a mercenary knight, so he says,
Indeed.
I am no formal messenger back to the king. If this was more of a heralded announcement, if you wish to treat with the king, the Centurion King, I'd advise that you send your own messenger north with your proposal.
Quite so.
The other
Thank
thing,
you.
since you fumbled diplomacy, right? You fumbled diplomacy.
Yeah, I still think this guy's a full spy. Which is why I'm asking for, who's your manager?
All right, and with just as that's about as closing, in enters Virgil with his escort.
Well, it seems that I'm late to the party.
Sir Virgil.
Sir Virgil.
You see the Earl's eyes light up, rather.
My little boy.
What did you say?
Forgive me for the interruption, but I have been asked to escort this guest from devices here.
Devices. Of course. Escort who from where?
Before we get into it, Sir Tudor, thank you for coming. You may leave.
Yeah, he nods. He says, "Of course, my lord." He bows way too low, and he goes to leave. You can tell though he was kind of he was not going to say anything. He was like, "Oh, maybe there's some information I can sell somewhere if I stick around."
That's exactly fucking why I'm on to you.
You would have done the same
Liam had
as a
also picked
mercenary.
up on that.
I would have.
Liam also picked up on that, but Virgil had not. So good save. As the guy leaves, I think Virgil kind of gives him a look, and he goes, "Who is the fish? He was sucking in the air like he hasn't seen water in years."
Trying to pass that in his head.
Yeah, you know who it is? It says something. Lady Ellen says, "No one of consequence." And she looks at her eyes dart briefly over to the new guest, and she smiles.
This is a messenger from, not Malahut, Estragales, is that right?
Escavalon.
Escavalon. This is a messenger from Escavalon. They bring urgent diplomatic message for the Earl.
You see that Robert looks excited. He says, "From Nanteleod?"
That is the implication. He has a royal seal.
The servant will step forward and bow low and extend the letter outwardly for someone to take. Anyone want to do so for the Earl? If not,
I'm
Ellen
standing next to him. I'm not doing shit.
will. Okay. Lady Ellen will get up
No,
and take
take
it. Oh, you'll take
Oh,
it?
sorry. Yeah.
Hey, go for it.
I'm
Yeah.
not going to make the countess do something. I'm still a knight, even though I'm a marshal. I'll take it.
Okay.
Exactly what a traitor would say.
Okay.
All right, you go out the window.
No.
The letter is taken. Robert doesn't read at a level where he's going to read this letter himself.
He's absolutely going to give it to the countess.
Yeah. She'll nod and she'll take the letter. She'll write the letter. She looks at it. Seems to study it a moment, and King Nanteleod has stated that he means to utilize the lands of Salisbury as a means of furthering the march against Cornwall, and is requesting permission to send some of his armies through this way.
While things are coming to a head sooner than expected, this is what we discussed in our last council meeting. I believe we agreed to something similar.
Robert nods. Right. So there's no reason to reject such an offer? Is it as simple then as telling King Nanteleod that he is welcome to do so?
I think that is a reasonable start.
Indeed so. With that in mind, we can make good on what we stated, and what may or may not have happened off screen, what we promised.
Very good.
We shall need to prepare our western border, however. There will be retaliatory strikes.
Of course.
Devices. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
All Robert says in turn is, I will leave the preparations of the men to you, Sir Edrich.
Indeed,
Devices is almost ready. Hellfear's been doing a bang-up job. I suspect by the time they're ready for counterattacks, it'll be a good staging ground.
Indeed. Devices and the castles around the Wearside Hundred. Like, what specifically? I think the Wearside Hundred. The Wearside Hundred will need to be defended. And with devices as a defensive bastion, I imagine they will pay should they take the northern route.
Indeed. And how goes the preparations in the south, Sir Virgil?
Well, I'm trying to remember the knight that I've partnered with
Robert.
on that.
Wasn't it?
Robert.
Robert Demir?
Yes,
right?
It was Robert. Yes, yes. Robert and I have been working well together. I think that he'll have things in order sooner rather than later, but it took time to get devices ready, and Hellfear's attention is not well split between the two places. It'll need the strongest concentration of our troops if we're going to hold it in time. Assuming, of course, that Cornwall's scouts are smart enough to find it a more promising target. I've been working hard to make devices attractive, but, well, you don't conquer that much land without being a little clever.
Indeed. If God smiled on us, then the devils in the forests would be as much a danger to our enemies as they are to our people. But we cannot count on that. I'll ensure that many of the people from the northern border are in a position to easily travel between both places, and those in the forest are concentrated within Demir.
Understood. Right. With that, Robert says, if there's nothing more, we will send our welcome back to King Nanteleod and prepare our own preparations.
I believe so. Once the messenger leaves, however, I should like to discuss recent matters with the last messenger, with Sir Virgil.
With all of us,
Very
or
well.
with...
Oh, say again?
With all of us, or just me and you?
All of us would be welcome, I should think. Make it a half-official council meeting.
Very well.
Very well.
You are dismissed. Yeah. So they send off. They send off the messenger. Urine.
Oh. You pissing at this thing?
What's that?
What?
Yeah, urine.
Urine.
You're on. Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
And as the room closes, Edrich will say, the prior messenger was a deputy made by one of the diplomats of the Centurion King. He fears that King Lot and the kings up in Pictland will soon invade, taking over Malahert, and from there, who can say? It is no secret that I worry about the ambitions of King Lot, particularly due to the nature of his wife.
Robert will say his wife.
His wife, the half-daughter and the eldest of King Uther. The daughter of Duke Gorlo and Queen Igraine. Is that her name? Igraine. And Queen Igraine.
I was about to say stepdaughter, not half.
Oh, that's right. That's my bad. Stepdaughter. She has a weak claim, but a claim nonetheless, on a great deal of Logris, if not further. King Lot could lever that, combined with might of arms, into something greater. Who would follow him, who can say? But I do know that north of the border in Malahert, they have not suffered as much attrition as we down here in this time of anarchy. I fear what ambition can do if let run amok.
I want to double check. Stepdaughter of who? Who said that? I just want to clarify.
Stepdaughter of King Uther. Yeah.
Stepdaughter of Uther. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gorlo's kid.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure that the lore stood up because you guys were around for that stuff. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to test something here real quick. Earl Robert. Let's see.
Also, she does not like me because I killed her dad. I don't say that.
Well, daughter of a traitor is similar to the traitor himself, right?
Robert says
that's,
and we fear that this daughter will target Logris. Would the daughter have any reason to target Salisbury?
I did kill her father. However much she cares about that, I can't say. I don't know the girl very well.
Very well. I can think of a very straightforward way to deter this. Sir Bar, and Bar will come in from the other side of the door. He says, ride to Amesbury Abbey as soon as possible and take captive the Dowager Queen Igraine and hold her here in Sarum. Anyone want to intercept that before it all comes out?
Yes, I think, my Earl, perhaps that is somewhat extreme. The Dowager Queen is still beloved by many, and such an action would be seen as perhaps hostile.
Would not an assault from King Lot to Logris be hostile as well?
If they were to attack us then, they would do so under the guise of a casus belli of trying to rescue the mother, instead of a land grab based on a weak claim.
Being, if I may, cautious and proactive about our safety and our protection is extremely wise in these dangerous times. That being said, I will admit that I hesitate to capture the queen or her children. It might make us more enemies than it ends, if that makes sense.
It does. Contacting the queen, I believe, is a very prudent course of action, and bringing her into our good graces. We have been trying, to our credit, to make her to allow her a more involved voice within our politics, given that she is staying within our lands.
Lady Ellen says, then perhaps we increase the hospitality of Sarum and extend it to Lady Igraine in a way in which the Dowager Queen, in a way in which it would be hard to pass. Should trouble come upon us, we'll be better poised for response.
Indeed. I do worry for Malahote. Not because of any allegiance I have or good disposition towards the Centurion King, who, as far as I'm concerned, betrayed it all the moment he gave us up for the Saxons. But I do worry about what would happen should Lot pass pass Hadrian's Wall.
Lady Ellen says, it's difficult to pass on an opportunity to wed young Robert to royal blood of the Kimry, no less.
Silchester has also been brought to bear in this. Silchester has no marriageable sons, as far as I'm aware. I could be wrong, though.
Yeah, most of you don't know Malahat outside of the Centurion King. Kind of bad design.
Yeah.
Robert looks at his mom and says, well, I'm not sure that marriage is our most important concern right now, Mother. We have war upon us. Lady Ellen, knowing Robert's view of Virgil, says, what do you think of this topic, Sir Virgil? Is it worthy to gather the council? A discussion of a defensible alliance through betrothal between the Earl and a daughter of the Centurion King.
I think that it would be unfair of us to refuse the notion, considering that we asked Lady Jenna to consider the same thing not that long ago. It would, admittedly, solve a lot of problems for us, in theory. I think it merits discussion, at least.
Robert says, very well, then we will call together the small council. Send for a representative from Idmiston while Florence is away, and we will send for the others.
And in the meantime, I shall marshal the men.
All right, we'll move away from that scene. We're actually going to move to a break because we're doing pretty well tonight.
Alrighty.
I think we're going to be, I'm reluctant to say it's going to be a short one because every time I say that, we go long. See you soon.
By default, nights start at 21
with Cymric culture, Christian religion, Salisbury homeland, and a random family characteristic. You can choose different options for all these. There are 5 characteristics: size, dexterity, strength, constitution, and appeal. Size and con determine total hit points and unconscious value. Size and strength determine weapon and brawling damage. Dex keeps a character upright or horsed and is used for starting weapon skills and throwing. Con also affects healing rate. App covers starting social skills, attractiveness, distinctive traits, and seating at feast. Skills have base starting values, some determined by your characteristic scores. Most skills are straightforward, but here are a few unusual ones. Recognize is used for identifying people. Folklore for general and mythical knowledge. Battle for navigating battles successfully, and hunting for navigating Britain's dense forests. There are 13 paired traits, like chaste, lustful, or valorous, cowardly, where increasing one lowers the other. These define how a character naturally behaves. If a trait is 16 or higher, it's famous, meaning the character defaults to the behavior without rolling. Otherwise, in uncertain moments, a player can roll one trait of the pair. If it succeeds, that's the action taken. If it fails, the opposite trait is tested instead. Over time, traits can shift through gameplay. Passions show what your character cares about, like loyalty, lord, or love of family. They range from unsung 1 to 15, famous 16 to 19, and exalted 20 plus. You can invoke a passion for a bonus, but failure can cause melancholy, creating a -5 penalty. Or, in the case of madness, takes you right out of play. Famous passions are riskier, but exalted ones mostly help. In Pendragon, you roll a d20 and want to roll under your tested trait, passion, characteristic, or skill, like Price is Right rules. For contested rolls, the higher success wins, while the lower success is called a partial success. Sometimes you need to roll over a target number for challenges, like breaking down a door. Yeah! Rolling exactly your tested value is a critical strike. Rolling over your tested number is a failure. Rolling a 20 on a failed roll is a fumble. Bad news. If your tested number is greater than 20, the extra value becomes a bonus to your roll. This removes failure and fumble risk while boosting your critical chance. Glory measures a knight's fame for their deeds, directly granting permanent increase to their character. To be a knight is to pursue more glory. The more glory, the more recognition, and the greater the benefits to your character. This concludes the basics for a player on how to play Pendragon. The GM can guide the rest. Check out my linked series to find out why you should play Pendragon. All right, we are back. And we pick up with Sir Florence, but not just Sir Florence. We're going to do something we haven't done in a long time. A nighttime scene. The scene is going to have Sir Florence and a hooded figure. This is on Sir Florence's march north with the army. Your guest is, in fact, the Black Dog.
The Black Dog.
Ooh, Black Dog.
Ooh,
For Sir
I know that guy.
For Sir Percy, you've discovered that Sir Florence leads an army north. You've heard a number of pieces, like a large amount of information, that the Winter Prince might be somewhere in the lands of Camliard and King Leo de Grance's lands. And the bad news is that you heard that in rumor, not in fact finding, which means that there's the risk of
Wrong intel / other people know that.
exactly.
Too.
In addition to that, so you dispatched one of your men. I forget his name right now, but we actually had him in the Summerland game. Who are your main people? I'll be able to tell you if you just pull up the list.
My main guys that I have written down here, my squires Ithel the Squid. I've got Sir Iowith, Sir Kinfire, and those are the only two that I have named.
I'm pretty sure it was Iorwerth.
Yeah, he's the knight from Cornwall.
I'm pretty sure it was Iorwerth. Yes, it was Iorwerth. Confirmed. So you sent Iorwerth
like
north, and you haven't heard back from him yet. It's not like it's on the verge of being too long, but it's not yet too long, if that makes sense.
I sure hope the Summerland people didn't get my guy killed. I missed that episode, so I don't know. Okay, perfect. Well, I would like to nominate a volunteer that would be willing to risk their life to bring a message to Florence. That I would like to arrange for a meeting, a clandestine meeting between the two of us. Beyond that, I think I need to start. I think even though it's just a rumor, I don't have anything else that's actionable, right? Like, that's the best lead that I have.
Indeed. So the other lead is you don't know why Florence's army is all of a sudden marching north. Given that Camliard is also north, I think it's time to check in with your old friend. Do you support that? Because I don't have to force this scene. I just thought it'd be an interesting...
No, I do support that. I do support that.
Okay. All right, let's check in on two of the Sword of Victory then, as they meet up for the first time in a long time.
Can I ask, Mark, in terms of clandestine meetings, how does Florence set? Oh, hello, Purr. Goodness gracious. Hi, Lily.
Sorry.
Wow. In terms of clandestine meetings, what lengths does Florence go to keep his meeting with the Black Dog secret, if at all?
Keep it relatively secret. Again, the thing is he's being followed around by some of Prince Mark's men, if I remember correctly, unless that's changed, Bob.
No, you have some of your men, quote unquote, are marksmen. Yeah.
All right. So yeah, he would do it as like a clandestine meeting, as in like going out to a place and just having some drinks to enjoy the nightlife, and then just kind of heading off to a table where he pretends to have a conversation with or he just has a conversation with a drinking companion that he just randomly met, and
with a handsome stranger.
Earshot.
Yeah,
exactly, just out of earshot of the people that are guarding it.
Why don't we? I think
There
Oh,
aren't
yeah,
a
sorry,
lot
go
of
ahead, go ahead.
there aren't a lot of big places in Summerlin, so maybe let's say this is more like a camp, like your commander tent campfire kind of thing. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
That works.
there's like Bath and Wells, and then a couple of bigger.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of.
That's
It's not
true.
a metropolis in almost no civitas. So
I think Percy, in relative disguise, will kind of lift a drink and go, to our new king. Grateful that we be looking forward to a new age.
Oh, yes. To the king.
I have to say, I'm relatively new to these lands, but I was wondering what all the fuss is about.
Oh, the fuss. Surely you've heard there's a war going on. Or at least to be going on.
Well, I used to make my trade as a jester, so it pays to be perceptive, and what I've noticed is that troops in the area have been moving rather quickly, strangely, even.
Isn't that so? It's almost as if some simply disappear into the fog and then reappear later.
Something like that.
Yes.
You know,
Strange, though. I thought it quite funny. I was making my way to Bath. It was once a Roman settlement. Yet I have seen that there are Romans that have made their way up here before. A praetor of sorts.
very interesting. I didn't know that there were any real Romans left, besides those that carry the blood, I suppose.
Well,
I heard
I
Rome
do
fell
not
a
know if
long
I would
time
call
ago.
him a real Roman.
Well, it's funny that you should mention that. I heard a story about a young boy with a great power. Might have been a healer of some kind, but this boy heals the land, I think, more so than people. I've heard that he was north as well. I'm not sure the validity of this, though. After all, it was just a story.
You know, I hear Camelot is good this time of year. Or whatever the fuck place it's Bob. I can't see the map, so I can't just say the name.
Winchester.
Camelot?
Is it? Oh, Camliard. You're talking about Camliard?
Wherever the fucking prince is. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Winter
Prince.
Braids.
Yeah.
Cameliard,
Cameliard.
right?
Yeah. I thought you said
Camps.
Camelot.
Too many camps.
No, Camelard. Camelard.
You can say Camel Yard if that helps. It's very close. And I've heard
Camel
people-
Yard.
Yeah.
Camel Yard. Hey,
That's what they
y'all.
say in Excalibur.
I hear-
In Borman's Excalibur. They're like, Camel Yard.
Camelot. I hear Camelot is good this time of year.
Ah, curious. I've always wanted to visit. I've never been. Still, with the coming winter, I'd say it's important to make sure that travel's done effectively, quickly, urgently. Especially if there are, what was it that you said, a Roman on the loose?
Indeed.
You know, I once had a brother, long dead now. He was killed by a traitorous mercenary. This was, I don't know, almost a decade ago.
How
And
fascinating.
this mercenary that killed my brother, I very, very nearly got my hands on him. But it seems that fate likes to play tricks on me, that I am not yet destined to bring justice.
Is that so?
Perhaps he will be heading north as well.
It seems like it might be likely.
I've heard
News
stories
has
about
gone
you.
out. Oh, yes.
I've heard stories about you. I've heard that you, well, forgive me if I'm striking into uncomfortable territory, but I hear that you're a knight from two lands, not just Cornwall.
Oh, yes.
Do you ever worry about meeting a comrade on the other side of the war? Lots of...
Well, if it does happen, it happens. But in the end, we all fight towards the same goal, whether we know it or not.
One land and one king.
One land, one king.
I wonder sometimes. I know that since Uther Pendragon fell, this land has seen a lot of blood. Knight's blood. And far too often on knight's blades. I should hope that neither of us, in the future, need to see a dear friend's blood on our blades.
I would hope so. But I would also hope we would not hesitate in the chance of bringing about what needs to be brought.
That is a miserable thought.
It is awful, but
Welcome in, Dorktail.
necessary.
I would like to say, my brother, I think you would have liked him, the one who was slain. I think that if he were still here, if he had lived a different life, and if he was able to join us at this table, I think he would be proud. But
All we can hope.
I also think that he would be very sad as well.
Yes.
Well, it has been a delight drinking with you, stranger. But I'm afraid the winds call me. You never know what might happen. It's best to get a head start.
Isn't that true? I get a feeling that the winds are turning. If you are heading north, I recommend you do so soon. And you do not stay too long in the next settlement.
Strange saying that when the winds turn. I've been in places where I felt the winds turn before. It did feel like this. And though I have faith that they will turn for the better someday, experience drives me to fear that feeling. I should hope that it is not a sin to hope.
One must have faith. It is the
One must have-
candle that shall get us through the darkness. Gift of the Lord.
One must have faith. Well, I do hope, sincerely, that you and I will not meet again for a very long time. But when we do, that we will be able to greet each other as brothers. Huh?
He smirks. Of course.
Good day.
I'm sure we'll meet again one way or another.
In this world or the next.
In
Safe
this world
travels.
or the next. You too. And then he kind of smirks as he just kind of says under his breath, "Old friend," as he stands up and makes his way back to his band.
Awesome. The next day, we zoom in on Florence. A messenger arrives from the south It doesn't take long to realize these are your banners, so this would be a message from the axe.
No. What's it say?
It is a messenger, not so much a letter.
Oh, messenger.
Yeah, yeah.
What do they say?
Yeah. It is very much what we just saw in the other scene. There is a proposal from the King of Melahut for marriages to his king, or to his kin is what I meant to say. So his cousins, nieces, daughters, or any lord who might act in a pact of defense against any who might invade your lands mutually. From what you understand, this letter has gone to all the various lords of Logris, which as a baron, you now count as one of those.
Does he have any sons / male cousins?
Let's see if you're aware. I think that's going to be a diplomacy roll, but I'm going to throw a -3 on that diplomacy roll because, yeah, and because it makes sense.
Doesn't like me very much. 12 success.
Okay, you're aware of a son. You don't remember his age, but you're aware of his son.
All right. You would tell them to send back an inquiry into his son's age, informing that he is a daughter eligible of marriage, and is willing to hear out this offer.
Understood. All right. And then continuing your advancement north, which I think you're not throwing any curveballs into that, yes? All right, roll me...
Nope, not at the moment.
Roll me 2d100.
2d100. 68, 31. Only I could have put the 1 towards the 68.
Okay. As you arrive in Bath, you can tell that the soldiers of Bath, like the trumpets sound heralding you in. The whole mood has grown greatly. For there are a few soldiers who believe that any army could defeat an army led by two great legendary knights, Sir Meliodas and Sir Florence. So your involvement here, it's like you just put together a dream team of heroes. There are only about 8 people in all of Logris, or all of England, all of Britain, that would, all of the island, let's go that far, that would resemble your sorts of fame, your level of fame.
Yeah. There's only 8 of those individuals on the island, and we are 2 of them. Pretty
much. Yeah. That, of course, discounts people who are rightfully prestigious because they're kings. We're talking simply knights who've earned their fame on the battlefield and through adventures, through quests.
Literally climbed our ways up from nothing.
Technically, Meliodas is a king, but he's a petty king, so we won't talk about that.
He's a petty king, and he was given that title later on. He didn't start with that.
Yeah. All right. You will treat with Meliodas. That would be your first thing to do. He looks at you and he says, "So King Mark approved this?"
Indeed he did. It seems he is becoming more as one who is willing to take advice from others.
He smiles. I'm glad to hear this, and that he is growing. I'm sure he'll be a fine young man someday, or he'll be a fine young king someday, he says.
Indeed. But we have a war to win, do we not?
That we do. I must admit, Sir Florence, I'm sure you don't need to be told this, but if the entire might of all of Gales and their allies here in Logris were to come upon us, I'm not sure that we could fend them off. We could simply buy time. However,
Well, either way, I'm sure we'll give it a jolly good try. I mean,
He
we're
laughed.
British, aren't we?
I hear rumors that Lindsay moves in a different direction for London.
I've heard very much the same.
That is one great ally removed from the table.
That is true. I must say, I do hope them success in returning London from wresting control of London from the control of the Saxons. But I'm also grateful to see I would not have to face them.
Smiles. My queen, he says, my wife sends news that the rumors are that Salisbury will support Nanteleod, though not formally. Do you know if this
I
is the
assumed as
truth?
much. I've heard word from my brother who was mentioned, though I'm unsure if he was entirely paying attention.
He laughs at that. Young or just a bit aloof? Your brother, that is.
The second is more likely. Not as young as he would like to be. Young in spirit, perhaps.
My boy is quite young, but I fear that might be how he behaves when he is of old. His attention.
I can tell you that for sure. The young one kicked me in the shin when I tried to talk to his mother.
Tristram.
He'll be a strong one, I'm sure. Strong of spirit and strong of will.
We didn't teach him those sorts of things. I'm not sure where he got that behavior.
Curious.
Well, then we should begin our preparations.
Indeed. With that, they get out the map, start drawing lines.
Indeed. All right. For this, we're going to get each of you to make a siege roll. The higher roll, this will be like advantage. The higher roll will determine preparation success.
So I think Florence will call upon his honor, as he has made a solemn oath to see that this succeeds.
Meliodas will do the same.
Success. That's +5.
Percy. Where's my siege? Where is it?
You're not rolling it.
Oh, I thought you said both of us. Okay, good. Good.
Critical!
Nope, I messed that up.
No.
Sorry.
Oh.
I was like, that seems too good to be true.
That was just a 16 plus 10.
Yeah.
That was just...
I did it on both
Just
sides
give it a
rather
roll.
than yeah. I always check just to make sure, because I don't put it past myself to fail that. Yeah, that's more like it. Okay,
All right.
a 15. So things are solid.
High success than me, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Regardless, the two of you work effortlessly to prepare Beth for the likely battle to come.
Yup.
You received news that Nanteleod's armies have made it to Clarence. So this is
Yeah.
probably days away from happening at this point.
Right.
Oh, roll me a d10, sir.
D10. A 1.
And 2d100.
9 and 92.
Traitor and doors left open.
Don't like both of those words compared.
What about ally and instant victory?
Yeah, I like instant victory. I'm a fan of that one. Wait, no. I might not be a fan of that one in this situation, actually.
What about battle and win?
You receive an
Cat and
in-
cat.
if you recall the state. Maybe I'll go over to the other map because we haven't done anything in that map yet. If you recall, there is a bit of the land still considered Summerland that was reclaimed last year. You receive intel that a number of the Summerland knights that have been kind of scattered are beginning to gather in Great Bridge.
Okay.
Since Great Bridge has been liberated, rumor has it that King Cadby has returned to his seat this year. Perhaps last year.
Yep.
It's hard to tell.
This guy would fucking die. I mean, I'm glad for it, but still.
All right. And that's pretty much what I have for you, Florence. Is there anything you want to focus in on while in Bath?
I think mostly he's coming up with like strategies that he thinks he can use to attempt to outwit King Nanteleod. Things that he might not expect, or doing the something that might be advantageous, something that might be like that, the ace up the sleeve, or the something that could change the face of the battlefield, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Some way to catch them off guard.
Short of doing anything reckless into their lands, you feel like you're in a waiting game, unfortunately. And that's not comfortable. I say that because that's not a comfortable place to be.
Yeah.
Not for a victory.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Okay, go ahead.
Alright, I think he put plans in motion to see if something is possible. Essentially, he has designs on trying to figure out a way if it would be possible to essentially ambush the armies of Nanteleod before they arrive at Bath, turning what would be a siege into a straight-up battle. And whether or not that would be even feasible.
Okay. I will give you the general rundown of that. That would be like Gorlo's sortie, hoping that they leave an opportunity for sortie. What you know about Nanteleod is he's one of the more brilliant military minds in Britain.
Yeah.
So he's less likely to leave himself in states of vulnerability. You feel like you would have to one up someone who's always thinking 3 steps ahead, and which you can do. What's your battle? You got a high battle too, right?
Well, the battle is an 18.
Yep. So you're high enough to consider yourself a competent military general, but you would have to get very unorthodox from what you're used to. And by unorthodox, that may mean a lot of unorthodox things summarized down to dishonorable tactics.
Yeah, exactly. I think he'll probably hold off then and just continue to prepare the defenses of Bath.
Okay. Well, in that case, we're going to skip on over back to our standard scenes, and we're going to take a look real quick at the others. Let's see here. One sec. Okay. We'll go to Edrich next, who I've got probably quite at the wrong time, friend. But that's okay.
All good.
Okay, so all I need to know from you is what were your immediate actions following the next couple of weeks while you wait for the word from Nanteleod?
Basically, strengthen the western borders as much as possible while still maintaining a presence in the east for the Wessex.
Okay.
As far as immediate actions that specifically Edrich wanted to do, he would probably want to get word to the Black Dog about the spy in his lands, Sir Idmirth,
Okay.
who probably reported to Syagrius. But beyond that, hang out with his family and make sure that a dozen of the things that he's anxious about all the time doesn't occur.
Right. Well, let's just check in on your movement of the men. So we'll do like a battle test for you.
Let's do it.
Just kind of summarizing a month worth of activity, or several weeks worth of activity. So no impassion in this case.
Indeed.
Okay.
17 over 20.
Okay. Things are orderly. Things move as expected. Give me a D10 roll. Save for maybe a curveball.
6.
2D100.
106.
Not bad.
Don't give me a person with a bow and arrow or a javelin, and don't give me my knees being damaged, and we're good.
Gotta do the knees, man. I'm sorry. It's a
I'm
running
still
bit
an
now,
adventurer. I'm still an adventurer.
While you're moving men in the west, you receive formal contact from Nanteleod's land. Specifically, you are in communication with Sir Elaine. So Sir Elaine arrives.
Oh. Sir Elaine is someone I like and trust. Sir Elaine, how does the day treat you?
I'm well. I come with news from Nanteleod on his further movements.
I'm glad to hear it, and thank you for the information. Tell me, how is Estrigales? No, not Estrigales. Escavalon.
Things are well. You may have heard that the armies march west for Clarence. What I mean
Hence
to tell
why
you...
ours march to secure the border.
Indeed. I come with formal notification from the king. He'll be sending a portion of his men through Salisbury to pass through the forest gloom.
Acceptable. He is aware of the risks.
He is. Indeed.
Excellent. We can ensure their safety while they are on our lands, but once they leave, by order of the Earl, things will become difficult. You'll be granted asylum, however, should a retreat through our lands become necessary as well. We will defend our borders.
The king expected this much, and he accepts.
Most excellent. Thank you, Elaine, and I wish you and your king good fortune in the wars to come.
He also sends news concerning the north.
I see.
It seems that King Lot has begun to march into Cumbria.
Yes. Sooner than expected, but worrying all the same. I shall have to ensure that my Earl and our council come to a decision regarding it. But I was wondering your thoughts on the situation. No doubt, at some point, Malahut would have reached out to King Nanteleod, or perhaps yourself directly.
Give me give me a good old intrigue roll there, friend.
Good old intrigue. I like intrigue. Don't fumble. 14 of a 19.
Oh, yeah. You get the slight bit of like uncomfortableness in him. You probably haven't seen that in him before. It's hard to tell exactly what that is. Seems very like a personal reaction. A bit of embarrassment, maybe? So,
I hope my statements have caused no offense, Sir Elaine.
of course not, no. Yes, we've received such invitations from Mellowhut. And we've also been contacted by King Lot to request that we remain neutral in such treaties.
I see. And if you do not mind me asking, which of these entreaties won out?
Well, he pauses. From one honorable knight to another. He's asking for your discretion and almost a promise of secrecy.
Of course, Sir Elaine.
I am to be wed to one of the princesses.
I see. By one of the princesses... Yes, the daughters of the kings of Pictland. I can see that being an appropriate diplomatic move. After all, Malahut's enemy is your ally. This being, of course, Duke... what's his name? The Duke who's rude to everyone.
Which Duke, sorry? Which one are you talking about? Corneus?
The one taking London, yes.
Yeah.
And Duke Corneus is your ally and Malahut's ancestral foe. It is prudent. Non-aggression, was it? Simply not interceding?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all you know about Elaine, though, is he's a royal constable. So what good is that? What good is that for an alliance? It doesn't quite...
Presumably, like, in Edric's mind, it's like, oh, that's like a promise for them to not get involved. In his mind, Nanteleod not fighting is worth, like, giving away one of the princesses. That's a deal that he might make, even if it's a little bit raw. But I think, looking a little bit closer, he might say, curious, though, that one of the princesses was offered to you. Make no mistake, you are a man of great renown and great glory, but I would rather imagine if a deal were to be struck, it would be struck elsewhere.
I am illegitimate kin in the line of Vortimer.
I see. I see. Legitimacy, then. In that case, the deal is doubly fair, and I can understand why such a deal would be appealing for you personally and for Nanteleod.
He nods.
Inwardly, Edric's like, shit, I wanted them to kick the shit out of each other.
He says,
but outwardly, oh yeah.
And the Earl? Will he consider these offers?
The Earl was not given an offer by King Lot, at least not in a way that I was privy to. I can say that the scattershot approach of Malahut did reach us, but a decision has not yet been made. I trust, however, that my promise of discretion can be echoed in yours.
Scattershot. Sorry, I'm not trying to draw on the
Oh
anachronistic.
no, that's a very good point.
Yeah.
That's a very good point.
No,
yes.
the point, but the point,
haphazard.
yeah, he will say haphazard. He seems confused by that.
It seems a great many diplomats and messengers have been sent across the land, seeking allies where one can.
Indeed. We treated with Sir Llewellyn ap Ector, or Sir ap Nicholas.
Interesting, personally. Yes, he would have gone to the great kingdoms and duchies personally. That makes sense. If Gorling, he apparently sent us a mercenary knight who was rather unaccustomed to diplomacy.
Mercenary knight? As a diplomat.
Yes, it was rather suspicious to my mind.
I suppose
But,
I've seen worse.
Yes, there are worse suited, and I have heard of far worse as well. But Sir Tudor, while not making a great impression, gave the information necessary.
Very good. Well, I won't keep you any further. Best of luck with your plans.
Nor are you. And you with yours.
Will you be preparing a formal envoy for the king's men as they march through your lands?
I will be. And given that it is the most likely place that you will be pursued from, I will be ensuring the security of the borders personally, alongside a convoy.
Where should they make their way through? What entry point?
Let me take a look at the map.
I will jump
So they're
over.
attacking Bath, right? Yeah.
Let's go over to the big Salisbury one. I think it's a little more
Yes,
useful.
perfect. So let me just take a look. So they want to get to Bath, right?
No. They said they will
No.
be. They said they will be marching through. I guess you don't have clarity, but they said they'd be marching through the Forest Gloom. There's not a lot of like marchable paths through the Forest Gloom, save for the one down by your lands in Vegan.
Indeed. In that mind, his recommendation is that they come through Vagon and through the Wearside Hundreds. He will make a note that there have been many conflicts with creatures and mysterious knights there. However, they have been repelled for a time. They are likely still going to be an issue, but if they travel through the Wearside Hundred, they have a choice of either going directly through a trail in these days to Wells, or up a very haphazard path across the river up Warminster.
So this will almost certainly put them through devices on their way south, yes?
Yes, if they come through Clarence, through devices, they'll head south and go through Vagon. Unless... Yeah, I can't in good conscience have them ford 2 to 3 rivers.
Right? That's fair.
Even if I would like them to fucking kill Alabaster.
Indeed.
We'd all like that, okay? You're
We
not
don't
special.
like that. I know, I just don't like them.
Right?
But yes, that's his recommendation. Traveling across the roads and then through Vagon.
Yep. And to be clear, they will be coming from Corinium, just for your awareness.
Corinium. Yeah, so from Corinium down to Wandborough, down to Marlborough to Calney, to Devices, to Till's Head, to Vagon. Yeah, that looks like a good path.
Excellent. Okay. So we have our understanding of where the armies will be permitted to go. We're going to close out your scene there unless you had anything else you wanted to add, Thomas.
I think that's basically everything. Edrich is quite keen to see the forces of Nanteleod succeed here. Mostly because he likes the idea of Nanteleod better than he likes the idea of Idris or Mark. But yes, I think all is well, and best case scenario, the fucking Fey Knights die because they try to ambush someone in the forest.
Okay. We're going to do a quick check-in now as our last scene as we move into one of two options for Liam. We can either go to Sir Virgil and devices, or we can go to the Black Dog.
Well,
No.
what do you think is most compelling? I'm
Both.
groovy pretty much either way.
It's-
there's interesting stuff to do for both of them.
We're nearing an end of an era, let's just say. So,
How ominous.
you know what? Now is a good time just to show the audience a little bit of army movements on the big map. What do you guys think? Should I do that?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I love army movements.
All right. We have. Let's do this in slightly less zoomed in mode because otherwise it's going to be really painful. That should do. We have the armies of Lothian, Gore, and Garloth marching on Malahut and Nohat.
Maybe their Saxon friends can help them.
We have the army of Escavalon in Clarence, about to contest what was Summerland with Cornwall. And Cornwall, of course, occupying Summerland. With Sir Florence just on the border of that in Bath. We have Salisbury opening up its borders to a foreign king, one who's proven alliance. We have news that the Winter Prince was last spotted in Camliard, or rumors say. Over on the Saxon shore, we have Duke Corneus leading hopefully a surprise siege on the city of London. It's now currently Saxon occupied.
Jesus. Everything's kind of going up at once, huh?
I know, it's fantastic. This is where Edrich lives.
And in Silchester, we don't know. What is Silchester doing right now? That one's unclear.
They ought to be backing us up. Or I guess helping London. Either one's fine.
That's fair. All right. That is the current powdered keg being filled with to the brim with gunpowder.
So, out of curiosity, most of Virgil's stuff right now would be preparing for battle, dealing with potentially siring Earl. No, they're siring the Earl, or dealing with his home fallout nonsense, and Black Dog's heading north. Yeah?
Black Dog's intention is to head north?
Yes. I think the priority for him is securing the Winter Prince and making sure that he's safe. So, after his talk with Florence, I think the idea is that Sigerius, his idea at least, is that Sigerius is going to try to take the Winter Prince, and he can move a little bit more freely than Cornwall's armies can.
It's true. Now the question is, do you go through... You have two options. You're a mercenary. You could move through Bath, which would be quite high exposure for you from the enemy. Or, We know that Siagris has ties with Cornwall, so it would be exposure that way. Or you could make your way across the bridge at Great Bridge in Bristol to King Cadwy's kingdom and up north through there.
Obviously Bath is faster.
Great Bridge would be a little bit of like a day and a half deviation.
Oh, it's a long time. But if we get caught and held up with battle, then it'll be longer than a day or day and a half. Let's go through Bristol. I think tactically, no one else is coming for the Winter Prince right now. So it's got to be Percy.
All right. Perfect. So we will zoom in.
Great it is.
We'll zoom in on Great Bridge. Percy arriving in Great Bridge. And we haven't done a lot of this where we bounce around, but we are still interested in following the original members of the Sword of Victory. I think that's a really important part of this.
Yeah.
That's where we came from, right? So I'm just gonna cut the picture back over. There we go. Roll me a d10, Percy, as you make it to Great Bridge.
I love a D10.
I'm not going to even make you roll hunting, and then roll 2d100. You won't have to roll hunting because you've been at this. You can tick hunting for free, though. We'll give you that. You've been roaming these crazy lands for a while.
My hunting's not bad.
I love the idea of anyone like trying to clock Percy with like Perin being like, no, this one's got 2 arms. It can't be him.
It's a common trend. This one very clearly has 2 arms, and I know for a fact that that Perin couldn't have faked that. So I don't know what's going on here. The resemblance is uncanny.
All right. When you reach Great Bridge, you're allowed through, but the king himself would like to speak with you, apparently.
Oh. I'm trying to think. Has Perin ever met King Cadway? I don't think he has.
I don't remember if he has. I don't think
Dallin did for sure.
Not as Percy, anyways, right?
Yeah, it's entirely possible Black Dog had some dealings with him over the last couple of years, but
I think you've met men of his, but you never arrived at Cadwy's camp, right?
Agreed.
I know Florence did.
I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I haven't. Okay, well, Percy will go quick. He wants to, have his men eat a hearty meal and then leave, basically. So, double time, try to make up some of that space.
You're served ale and cheese quiche, roasted seal, Gwydir, and herb fritters.
Yeah, man, lots of Gwydir mentions today. That's fun.
Yeah.
Sorry we're eating your wife or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh God, he's looking at me right now on the map too. He's right there on the map.
Yeah. Yeah. Son of a bitch, he says. At this point, you're brought into Cadwy's throne room. He stands up.
Your Majesty.
He waves like that, and his men leave. So it's just you and him. The door's shut. He walks.
A lot of faith you're putting in him. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. Say it, please.
That's a lot of faith you're putting in a mercenary, Your Majesty.
And a poisoner.
Aye. And a poisoner.
But it's not
I'm
your
not surprised
fault.
that you know. I'm not surprised that you know more than most.
I know a great many
don't-
things.
I don't intend to defend myself. But I want you to know, if you don't already, I made certain that if everything had gone as I intended, only 2 would have died. And I likely would have been one of them.
I know this, Sir Perin. I've seen it.
The woman who saved me, I barely knew her. I barely knew her. And she could have saved herself. She chose me. Since come to some understanding that whatever is out there, be it fate or God or perhaps just blind luck, it has some sort of plan for me. But not a day goes by that I wish that she hadn't made that choice. Not for me, but for her.
The people of these lands, they're close to the edge. To over there. Many of them see it. Some understand how to see it. Others have dreams. They forget. She didn't choose you simply as a mercy. She saw something. That's why she went to Uther to begin with. She saw what I've seen. His son.
I have no right to care for the boy. After what I tried to do to his father. After what his father did. But I've never had such profound faith before. When Merlin had us find the sword, I think he believed it was for Uther at the time. Goes to show, even the wisest and most powerful of us can be a hair off the target.
You come seeking the winter, Prince.
Yes. I come to protect him. I think my fate is entwined with another's. And I think much of what I am, he is the opposite. Much of what I want is his opposite. I need to move quickly if I'm to protect him from that shadow of myself.
There's been an attempt. In Carrowhage, in Camleyhart. He survived it. But the old Roman knows him. And knows where he is. But not for long. You ride here to head north. But it's here that you'll find him.
The boy?
The prince. The knight. Sir Finnegan, they call him.
See, I think.
He makes his way here to fulfill an oath. To restore Summerland. Or at least those lands that were taken from the heir of the lady who died for you.
See, my priority is ensuring that the Winter Prince stays safe, that he's allowed to see his destiny. What can I do?
You know the greatest threat of the Winter Prince. You've faced him.
Oh, go ahead.
Would you face him once more, even if it met your end?
I died a long time ago, Your Majesty. I've put everything I had into fulfilling 2 oaths. One was seeing the boy on the throne, and the other was to see my friends, my brother's killer dead. If I could achieve both dreams at the cost of my own life, that is a price I would pay very happily. You have my word at that.
Then eat, drink, spend time with your men, and rest here. When you awake, you will know the place where the Praetor sleeps.
I once believed that it was my duty to set an example, to show that there were brighter days ahead, that ideals could be as sharp as any blade. I never thought that future would not be for me to see, but I have made my peace with that. I thank you for your kindness, King Cadway, though I do not understand your own motivations. I trust them.
I made an oath. An oath to the late king of Logris. And as long as the line of Uther lives, I will not break it.
Still carry hate for him, even now.
He knew more about sieging castles and raiding cattle than he did about anything else. He was meant for a different time.
Perhaps a difference in position. It matters very little in the end. The threads are sewn into the fabric already. I will leave to prepare myself, if you don't mind. I have a few scribes in my care, but I'm not certain how many of them. Is it possible that I could borrow someone who can write from your retinue to leave some final words, just in case?
Of course, but that is tomorrow morning's business. Eat, drink,
Of course.
sleep. It'll serve you well.
Thank you.
I want you to choose to give me a temperate or indulgent test on whether or not you make merry with your allies, your knights, your brethren before this.
May I argue, since the two of them are dead even at 10-10, that I auto-succeed at indulgent, as I do think Percy believes that this is going to be his last day.
Absolutely. You want to auto succeed in indulgent? Just succeed, right? Not
Yes,
crit?
sir. I don't know. Is crit gonna leave me hungover tomorrow?
Yes.
I show up facing Sigurius, and I'm like, "Oh, dude, can you not talk
Just
so loud,
keep it
please?"
down.
War,
Yeah, just
drums
keep
of
it
war are so
down,
loud.
maybe.
Oh,
No, it
Got
wouldn't.
such a headache from riding.
A crit in the
Just
yeah,
a success.
actually, you know what? Success would be better according to the feast rules anyway.
Just a success is fine. Yeah.
Okay. The food tastes great. You have
Never had seal before.
right. This is the first time you've really relaxed too. For whatever reason, your worries fade with the food and the drink that you eat. And eventually you retire for the night without the worries of tomorrow. But you wake strangely to a sound, crackling fire. You're not outside. There should be no fire going at this time of night. But you can hear crickets, and you look up and you realize you are in fact outside in the middle of a field. You look over and you see a fireplace, not fireplace, a campfire not far away. Yeah.
I think letting his hand kind of glide through the tall, the grass as he walks through, he'll make his way over to the fire.
Give me a recognize roll.
a success.
You see a boy in his mid-teens, the same dark hair as Madoc. Similar eyes to Madoc, though less harsh, more soft. As if Madoc wasn't raised or drawn the way he was. A boy who's likely seen more peace than war. He kind of looks at you strangely and seems startled, and then calms himself. Looks back to the fire.
Hello again. I don't think you remember me, but I once saw you when you were very small.
I see. Do you know where we are?
I've been here before, I think, but not in any way that would help me explain it to you. I imagine you've likely seen plenty of places like this over the last few years.
He nods. I've been on the run.
Soon to be no longer. You have my word at that. No more running.
No more running, right. That's why I made the oath. Tired of running.
The oath?
Lands were taken from a lady in Summerland because I was kept there in secret. I mean to pay them back to her.
Yes.
To be the prince that I'm said to be.
I know it's strange, but I have spent nearly every day for over a decade thinking of almost nothing but you. And now that you're here, I don't know what to say.
Did you serve my father?
No. Not well. But I have served you. Whether you know it or not. Someday, I hope you'll be able to see how and understand why.
I can tell your words are true. There is a lot of pressure to become something that everyone seems to think I am. It's only recently that I've recognized that I want to become this too. I'm not certain I can promise that I will be what everyone wishes or hopes or dreams that I will be, but I will fight for Logris. I will serve it and its people.
I think Perin actually moves to wipe tears from his face. You've already done what you can. And that's more than most. I find that it matters very little what people think you are, son. What matters is what you decide you'll become. And it sounds to me as if you have already chosen greatness for yourself. Don't worry about how it finds you, or the mistakes that you make. Learn from them, and learn from the mistakes of others. And you will have nothing to fear. Nothing.
At this point, you can kind of see it's actually strangely like getting light. You can see like the sun's. It's not coming up at a normal pace either. It's kind of coming up quite quickly, like it's in some sort of 2 times speed or 3 times speed as it's rising. It'll be morning soon, and we'll continue our march. When the campaign is over, I will look for you, Sir
Perin. My name is Perin.
And with that, we'll close the scene. All right, guys. We are very obviously nearing a new era of play and a new point. I will be in touch with you all because it's going to get a little weird from here. We got a lot of
Indeed.
a lot of crossover stuff happening. And so I'm going to be organizing some of that, and it's possible that some of our regular stream times might actually be paused for recorded times where we meet up as certain pieces and lay out things like the battle in Bath and the conflict between Sir Percy and Syagrius. So
I'm so
Yeah.
excited.
This is gonna rock.
Boy, can you guys imagine if I had us stay home and do Virgil's taxes instead?
there's always opportunities. I try not to write a. I feel like if you, and this is, I'll give a moment of GM advice to anyone who's listening and watches. It's all right sometimes, and especially in games like this, maybe it's a little bit harder if you got to have a prep dungeon, or in D&D can be difficult to do stuff on the fly. But with a game that allows for a lot of variability, and Pendragon's very much one of those games, sometimes it's better to have a general idea and really to honor player autonomy, see where the players will go. As long as they're not falling asleep while they wait for each other's vignettes, it can get rather interesting in this structure. So, all right. We have Sir Edrich armed with the readiness to accept Nanteleod's army. We have Florence prepped to fight an army at Bath, Nanteleod, and we have Sir Percy in pursuit of Syagrius. So with that, folks, we're going to go ahead and do outros and close the session. We'll start with you, Thomas.
Hello and goodbye. I have been Sir Edrich of Winterbourne, Stoke. Having a... it's that moment, that first moment in the roller coaster when it really starts picking up speed and you start to feel gravity leave you. That's what Edrich's feeling all the time now. It's what he lives for. It's also what he fears most. Very afraid of Cornwall, very afraid of King Lot and his Scottish brothers, and very afraid of Wessex. He's scared, and he's going to win, because it's going to be good. But yes, thank you so much for watching.
Done very convincing, Thomas. Mark.
Yeah.
Hello, I am Mark, aka That Gets Me Out, and I've got to do my bit because I was busy typing stuff. I do stuff on the internet. That's right. I run a vampire game. I run a vampire game before, and my current one is House of Tremere. So if you want to learn out more of that, check out my channel. Just recently uploaded episode 8 to my YouTube channel as well, which you can check out at the Cats Meow Show. Come join us for all the fun and vampire-y goodness, as well as more ttrpgs to come. I have many new series I am always working on. By the way, did you know we have a Discord? Come check out the Discord! Lots of fun things on there, such as shitposting, memes, blah 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 blah, as well as updates on whenever we go live, as well as new projects we are always working on. I'm also a part of a new project that Bob is doing very soon for Lord of the Five Rings, or whatever it's called.
Legend.
Come check that out. Yeah, where I'll be playing a lion. So, yeah, I'll be able to play. You'll be able to see me play a different kind of feudal lord. So, join us there.
We do seem pretty attracted to the concept. I wonder if that says anything about us.
I think the correct term is Lord of the Five Games of Time. It's actually
Lord of the Five Games. Yeah.
I'll just go ahead and jump right into me. Hi, everybody. I've been Liam. I played Sir Virgil and Sir Percy of Durnford. Apologies if it sounded like I had a little bit of a cold today, because I did. That being said, I had an absolutely wonderful time doing the apparent culmination of, I think, years of storytelling playing this game for Perin's arc. So amazing. Things that I can plug. We have a podcast, a couple of friends of the channel and us. It's called On with the Motley, where we take a subject that we're passionate about and explain it back to people, friends of ours that aren't familiar with it. It's a delightful time. We've got 3 episodes out right now, I think. One on Doctor Doom, one on the Greek sagas, and then one that's a prelude to a 3-part KOTOR one, so Knights of the Old Republic. Come check it out. It's On with the Motley Pod. It's great. Have a nice time with it, and we'll see you guys either next week or whenever we're getting back in the swing of it, I guess.
Yeah, we'll tell you what's happening. Okay, and I'm Bob. We do Pendragon, as mentioned, in 3 different games here, plus a smattering of other little side connection pieces. We have Community Pendragon, where you're welcome to join and play. We usually do about 2 sessions a month, sometimes 3. And then we have a temporary spin-off of that called, help me out, Anarchy in Silchester. Is that right? In the Vale. Which takes place on Sundays, and Anarchy in Londinium, which was put on hold, but we're going to do not tomorrow, but the week after. On Monday, we're going to do a culmination of that to deal with the Siege of London. So that'll be exciting, as mentioned here in the game. We also do, as mentioned, a number of different projects here, but I will shout out that I have a new podcast. It's been running called ttrpg Talks. My most recent guest as of yesterday was Sandy Peterson, the creator of Call of Cthulhu. Please check that out. We have David Larkins, the line editor for Pendragon, lined up for next month, and we'll see where it goes from there. But thank you very much for watching, and hope you enjoy. If you really like our content, please, if you're watching this on YouTube, leave some comments. If you're watching on Twitch, a like and a follow goes a long way. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.
Farewell.
Oh, you know what? Hold on. I didn't realize we had people. I'm on a raid.
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. And to make it a little less awkward as we sit here, why don't we cut over to our BRB screen, and we'll see you in a minute.
Yeah.
By default, knights start at 21 with Kimmer culture, Christian religion, Salisbury homeland, and a random family characteristic. You can choose different options for all these. There are 5 characteristics: size, dexterity, strength, constitution, and appeal. Size and con determine total hit points and unconscious value. Size and strength determine weapon and brawling damage. Dex keeps a character upright or horsed and is used for starting weapon skills and throwing. Con also affects healing rate. App covers starting social skills, attractiveness, distinctive traits, and seating at feast. Skills have base starting values, some determined by your characteristic scores. Most skills are straightforward, but here are a few unusual ones. Recognize is used for identifying people, folklore for general and mythical knowledge, battle for navigating battles successfully, and hunting for navigating Britain's dense forests. There are 13 paired traits, like chaste, lustful, or valorous, cowardly, where increasing one lowers the other. These define how a character naturally behaves. If a trait is 16 or higher, it's famous, meaning the character defaults to the behavior without rolling. Otherwise, in uncertain moments, a player can roll one trait of the pair. If it succeeds, that's the action taken. If it fails, the opposite trait is tested instead. Over time, traits can shift